I guess we'll do it that way.
John.
Yo.
How are you? What's the latest?
Couldn't be better. 2 days
John,
in a row.
how many listeners do you think we lost after today's episode?
Most?
I think at least 85 to 90%.
Why do you say that?
No, just because I feel like I feel like you were making really good points. I listened to it and I was like, man, that my horse grew significantly between when we started that episode and when I just feel like I'm
You
off
feel like
my
you're on
high
your
horse
high
now.
horse?
Well, I've dismounted now. I've dismounted the high horse now.
And where does that leave you?
Well, it leaves me with a couple things. I thought a lot yesterday about how I would like to stop being such a judgy asshole for my entire life and present, like you said at the very beginning, present to the world positive ideas about how things could be better instead of just complaining about how things suck. And
so what do you got for us?
Well,
Sounds like you've been thinking.
I have been thinking. What I've got is a couple of pithy little statements that I think sum up my pithy little thoughts. Just kidding. I think I have good thoughts sometimes, but I don't need to preach. Anyway, here are my thoughts, John. Create. This is my goal for myself, and I hope that other people find it helpful. Maybe they'll adopt parts of it. Create more than you consume. Build more than you destroy. Choose a direction, a better future, and fight towards that rather than destroying what you have and purely acting out of reaction. So always move towards something, not just away from things. And remind myself, no matter how bad things get, they could always be worse, and they will if we don't fight to make them better. So that's what I want to sum up yesterday with and kind of leave it at that.
All right. Tune in next week, folks.
Yeah. I did also think about today. Today is Juneteenth.
Yeah.
Can I just throw this out there? Why is Juneteenth not like a big holiday? I've
never even heard of that. What is
that? See, that's the thing. No one even talks about it. It's It's short for June 19th, and it commemorates the day when slavery was ended in America.
Oh,
seems like that should be
not yet.
Yeah, I know, right?
Private prisons, folks. Prisons,
exactly. But
just kidding. So this is 1865, like the Emancipation Proclamation.
Yeah. See, but like I didn't learn about it in school. You know, we get off for school we get off for school for President's Day, but we don't get off of school for Juneteenth. That seems insane.
Right.
Anyway. So there's that. Happy Juneteenth, everybody. And, I had one more thought relating to all of this, John, social justice and sort of the problems, just some of the hypocrisy. We were talking about at some point about how, Chattanooga, where we both were living for a while, is a pretty interesting place. It's very much the South. And I had a thought. I was like, I wonder how many Confederate flags are produced in China every year.
Oh, yeah.
Probably
all of them?
Yeah, exactly. I just think the irony of and if not the entire thing produced and then shipped over in like a folded little package, at least a lot of it. Yeah.
Do you think there's some factory cranking out Nazi flags for like neo-Nazis? There probably is, right?
You think, guaranteed. Do you think that the Chinese guy running the flag factory really cares that much about what kind of flags they're producing? Of course not.
I went to Japan years ago, and all throughout Asia, there are, I forget what they call them, but it's the Nazi symbol slightly altered. It's an old Buddhist symbol. It's the swastika, and it's everywhere, absolutely everywhere.
Wow.
in all of these ancient buildings, and it's weird to see. It has nothing to do with Nazism. It's a symbol that that Germans adopted, Nazis adopted.
Wow.
from a old Buddhist symbol. But if you
Classic,
go through
classic
Asia, you'll
cultural
see it everywhere.
appropriation.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy. You could take a symbol. I mean, imagine if at some point in the future, a country that used the cross as their flag, and they did something so outrageous that to wear a cross around would be offensive to people.
I mean, I think some people would say that the Crusades in the Spanish Inquisition probably fit that bill.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's not quite as shocking, obviously, but
right.
Maybe, I don't
It's
know.
older
It could.
at the very least. You're right. It's not pure World
I don't
War
think it's older than the
genocide, but
swastika.
No. I just mean that the rawness of the Crusades it's significantly compared to say American slavery or World War II. It's scabbed over quite a bit.
Right.
So okay, moving on. Rollers update. We never got to that.
Oh,
my horse got away from me. Rollers update. Last night we John, I got invited to a Dodgers game.
Ooh.
And by a fella named Dan Basso and some of his colleagues, Scott Morgan. Basically, yeah, it was very kind of him to invite me. Basically, the company that I went with, they had a really sweet. That's my dog. That's Charlie's nickname. Producer of the show, Charlie Smallman.
Sweet.
His nickname is Sweet, and Olive's new nickname is Stink because she's a brat. So I call them Sweet, and Stink. Anyway, yeah. So PRG is a giant kind of lighting and all these other production equipment overall giant company, and they just merged Pascal Lighting and VER, which is a camera house. And Pascal, VER / PRG are the companies that in many ways made rollers possible. Because they believed in the project, gave us some good deals on lighting gear, and so we're all buddies, and now and they invited me to a Dodgers game in a suite.
That's incredible.
It was so cool. And oh, by the way, we beat them like 8-0 as the Giants from San Francisco. Somebody hit a home grand slam. It was epic.
Whoa.
And Clayton Kershaw pitched a great game. Clayton Kershaw, considered possibly one of the greatest pitchers of all time. I guess TBD. He's only like he's my age. It's insane. He's a baby, and he's already got like an insane number of crazy achievements. But it was Clayton Kershaw bobblehead day, John. So I got an authentic Clayton Kershaw collectible bobblehead, and
made in China.
You better believe it. It's very well produced though. It's very nice, and it's on my desk. And
are you a baseball fan?
Oh no, not really.
Okay.
But
I was getting nervous for a second.
Yeah, I do like baseball, and I have
played
baseball. I played baseball, varsity baseball in high school for 1 year before I quit. And I like baseball. And I'm not a fan. I don't anticipate that I'll become a fan, but I do like sitting and watching games.
Can you imagine doing that once a week though?
Going to a game?
Yeah.
No, I can't.
Especially not in a box, just in some regular.
Right. Well, and especially because I don't drink, so like, yeah. I mean, I would not do it once a week.
That's what those games are designed for. I mean, nowadays it's to sit there and drink 12 beers.
Yeah.
And stumble out of there. My wife told me a story recently about a guy. This isn't funny at all. A guy.
Oh, I'll be the judge of that. Thank you.
He got in a disagreement with his wife at a baseball game. He got hammered, as everybody does. He got in a disagreement with his wife, and she had her phone on to take video, I guess, of the game, and recorded him.
Oh, geez.
Pulling her out of her seat and then pushing her over a balcony.
No.
Yeah, she died.
No.
Yeah, she died, dude. And her phone recorded the entire thing.
No.
Yeah. And they got the guy. I think he tried to deny it, or he left. He just left the game, and then they got her phone and found the video.
That's
why you should never go to a baseball game.
Yeah, I think that's the lesson of that story for sure. Wow, that is some dark shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oof.
I've been to several baseball games, and they're always kind of fun. Yeah, maybe, I don't know, half a dozen.
Wow.
And so that's a lot for me, man. Not a big sports fan. Not a sports fan.
I have no idea how many baseball games I've been to. Many.
Much more than that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Really?
Many games. Yeah. Well, because, I grew up in Baltimore, and we grew up with Cal Ripken, went to a lot of Orioles games. Camden Yards is a great place to see a game. Oh, yeah. Tons of games. I mean, hundreds and hundreds, but like a lot.
Sure.
Yeah.
Dozens.
Sure.
Well, I grew up right outside
high school. We would go pretty often in high school, get the $6 student tickets and sit in the bleachers and all that kind of stuff. So
I was like, I don't know, probably 10 minutes from the Phillies stadium growing up, and I went to maybe one game the entire time
I mean, it's either your thing or it isn't,
Mm-hmm.
I will say,
if
though,
your parents are into it, that's a huge thing. My parents were not into that. So that de facto means I'm not.
Yeah, I was growing up in kind of the tail end of Cal Ripken's heyday when he was still a beast of a player. Right. And his records were getting ridiculous. Like his consecutive game record. Do you know about his record? He owns one of the coolest records in baseball. He's just one of those guys. I met him actually one time, and he's a nice guy.
That did not sound very
no. Meaning, I think he probably acted exactly the same way I would have acted in that situation, which was like, yeah, it's nice to meet you. Let's get the job done.
Right.
He wasn't like, oh my gosh, you're Isaiah Smallman. That didn't happen. How many games did he play? So his biggest record, Ripken holds the record. This will never be broken, hands down. It's unbreakable. Partly just because of people just get injured more. It seems like today the game has changed a little bit. Ripken holds the record for consecutive games played. Do you want to take a guess? It's not that high, but it's pretty high.
I have no clue. I mean, if it could be, in my mind, anywhere from 10 to 1,000. Like 100? I don't know.
2,632.
Wow.
Never missed a game for 2,632 games, including injuries.
I mean,
it's
whatever.
Oh my goodness. All right.
Whatever. You love that excites you? That does not excite me. I'm like, the guy showed up, big deal.
No, I mean, dude, he didn't he started.
He played in all those games.
Started all of those games.
In 2,000 games in a row?
Yeah.
How's that even possible? How many games a year are there?
There's like over 100. So he went like 26 years or 22 years or something insane like that without ever getting injured bad enough to miss a game. It's nuts.
Okay. He never got the flu?
Apparently not. That's what I'm saying. And these seasons are like 16 months long. One baseball season is actually 14 years.
It feels like that.
So his 2,600 game streak spanned not one, but 2 entire seasons.
I don't really know much about baseball, obviously.
Yep.
Look up pictures of Cal Ripken Jr. He is a creepy looking dude. His eyes, he's got wolf eyes.
Well, he is a wolf. You know what he looks like? He's the wolf of the Orioles. No, I don't know. I made that up. But he
his nickname is the Iron Man. Give me a break.
I mean, dude, can you give me a break? What a cool nickname, dude. He also he hit a lot of home runs, like 400 something home runs, and like he's a beast, dude. But anyway, here's the deal. Plus he never got caught up in the steroid thing. I have a really solid baseball game streak. Do you want to guess what my batting average was my freshman year when I played varsity?
I honestly don't even know. Like, I don't know what the batting average, I don't know how it works. It's 0 to 1,000, isn't it?
Yeah, basically. It's a percentage.
So
my batting average was a third. Yeah, go ahead and guess.
A third.
33%.
Yeah.
330. My batting average was 500.
That's good.
Yeah, it's very good. It's
2 at bats you hit one time.
That's precisely what happened. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was not a starter. I was not a valuable member of the team. Let's put it that way.
Right.
What else do we have? Oh,
did you hit your wait? Did you hit your first or your second ball? Or your first or second at bat?
I think I hit my first.
See, it would have been epic to go out like on a home run. You get a second shot and then boom, crank one over the fence.
I can crank them though. I'll tell you that much.
Okay, so
I'm a
rollers. No more
cranker.
baseball. I'm gonna hang up.
If I am, I am utterly determined to sabotage any goodwill we have with any of our listeners. Everyone who didn't quit after last episode, it got about 9 minutes into my baseball rant, and they were like,
we're doing like a producer's version of this. Yeah.
I love it. You know what though? We've been talking biz for so long, John.
It's true.
I'm just ready for something else. So yeah, dude, rollers. Okay, so rollers was great. Dodgers game was great.
So you went with the guys. This is a goodwill trip. This is just good business, right? They're like, Zay did some business with us. He's going to make more movies in the future. Let's get him out here for a little wine.
Yeah, like they just booked a suite and just invited some friends of the company and it was awesome.
Was it awkward at all?
No. I mean, it's great. You know, it's like I'm so used to doing lunches and meetings and all that kind of stuff anyway. But then on top of that, yeah, there's a game to watch, you know?
Yeah. Do you get nervous before you go? Let's say some kid. Well, what's a recent meeting you've had?
No, I don't really get nervous before meetings. I mean, what do you mean? How do you want me to describe it? Like, who was it with?
Just like, not say it's not something for rollers, but not a screening.
Oh, just like a general. Okay, got it. So, we kind of so if the meeting doesn't have sort of a specific action item, which is a lot of the meetings I've had lately, you call them generals, which is basically like, who are you? What are you up to? You know,
yeah. Give us a brief rundown on one of those.
It's a first date, second date. Well, here's how a general goes. You show up, let's say it's at an agent's office, you know, and they're like, well, what are you working on? And I'm like, well, I just shot this feature, rollers.
And what's the intent of this meeting? Are you trying to get an agent?
Well, that's the thing is it's not always clear what the intent is. And in some cases, the purpose and the intent is to discover maybe what the action items would be. It's like a sales call. You're like, do we have business to do together? You know what I mean? And sometimes the answer is kind of like, not yet. Let's talk again in a little while.
Sure.
So no one really likes general. It's just networking. Yeah. No one really likes generals that much because
the name is stupid.
Well, yeah. And also just because they usually don't result in anything. But you still got to do them. I mean, that's one of the things, like I'm going to start hosting, I'm calling them Mama Bear salons. And I kind of want to do like starting in the early afternoon, going until let's say 10 or 11. Basically, I'm going to start having these like open houses where you can kind of just work at the office and hang out. And then at some point, maybe 6, 7, we order some dinner or make some dinner and maybe like sometimes watch a movie, or sometimes, maybe we'll do like a show and tell of sorts, or I don't know exactly, but
actually that last part is a great idea, to let people show off products they've been working on.
Yeah, I think it could be really fun, and sometimes and maybe we'll just play a game, and I don't know. And some people I think are gonna.
How often do you see this happening?
I'd like to get to the point where it's weekly. Because a lot of times people just can't make stuff, and so part of the reason I want to do this is so that there are opportunities for people to see each other often, because part of the problem is you get to know a lot of people over the years, and then you can't just get lunch. I mean, well, people do this, but I don't really particularly like to do it because meetings are not necessarily work, and you can't just get lunch with everyone every day. And so part of my thought is like, let's get good people in a room. Some of them will already know each other, some of them won't know each other, but they will after they come, and they'll get to see each other more than once or twice a year, even if they only come to the meeting, to the meetup 3 or 4 times a year. It's still a chance for, at the very least, for me to see them and for them to just kind of be around. And so the idea is that some people might come and just kind of work because they're tired of working in a coffee shop, and some people might come in the afternoon and sort of stick around for the evening part. Some people might come for just a movie, because we've been doing some movie nights at my house, which has been really fun. We're doing one this Thursday.
What are you going to watch?
I don't know. We've been deciding kind of on the fly. We watched The Shining. We watched Fearless. Yeah, we've watched a couple things, but I don't know exactly. Anyway, so that's happening. Yeah, so the short version is, though, John, I don't know if you've had a chance to watch it, but the new cut of Rollers is, I think, coming along. I kind of blew up the whole second half because it felt like
I didn't watch the whole thing, but I did, because I've seen the movie so many times. So I started at the second half and I kind of blitzed through to see what you had changed and where. What do you think about what you've done?
I got to go back and watch it, but I now that I've sat on it for 26 hours exactly, and I don't know though, man. I think this could be a big step forward because, as we talked about, the last cut, I think, solved a lot of issues in the first half, but created a few new issues in the second half, and I kind of think that maybe we solved them. So
yeah, I mean, it seemed like you had an issue where you front loaded a lot of your good stuff in your last cut. So then you had a second half that felt skimpier or felt like it dragged more than the first half did.
And more specifically, even, I think there was a lull before the end. I think it was almost like front loaded and back loaded, but the middle was getting slow.
Right. Up to the last cut, you rearranged stuff. You added some title elements. You added some voiceover elements. And now that you've created this new cut, what do you think? Where do you think you stand with adding or subtracting?
Good question. I think so part of what I did is I was like, chop, and I chopped some stuff. And I also added a couple things. Can you imagine a more boring update? This is like, I feel like I'm just...
I chopped, I added.
I chopped, I edited some stuff. I took some stuff out. I put some stuff back in. And but no, I think, so I did like a really, really rough, like, thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think it's working. Let me try some more. So now I'm going to go in and do a little bit more tinkering, where I'm actually stitching things together. It's kind of like when you, I don't know, dude, I'm out of metaphors.
Well, you submitted this recently to a film festival. Is it the first festival that you submitted to?
We submitted to a film festival. Oh man, I hate talking about these things, but you know what? Maybe we'll bring it. Maybe it'll just make it real. Yeah, we submitted to Toronto International Film Festival. I don't know if we're going to get in. It's a rough cut, and it's already a very, very, very hard festival to get into. And we submitted a rough cut. So I'm going to be super honest. There's a chance we won't, but we're going to put it in.
But you did submit it.
Yeah. There's a good chance we're not going to get in because there's a good chance that most movies don't get in. I don't know what percentage. It's probably like 2 or 3% or something like that they accept. And
what's the last movie you produced?
Never Going Back.
Never Going Back. And where presumably you submitted this to a bunch of festivals, right?
Yeah. It played a lot. The premiere was at Sundance.
Okay.
The premiere was at Sundance, and it played.
Did you submit to Toronto
as well? No, we shot it in August. So by the time it was produced, Toronto's deadline was way over.
Gotcha.
And so, I mean, that's the thing. Like, in terms of any sort of traditional timeline, we're right on track for spring festivals. If we get into any fall festivals, it's an acceleration of that timeline. So I'm not going to be discouraged if we don't get any fall festivals, because most of them are going to be reviewing unfinished drafts. But yeah, no, Never Going Back played Sundance and then South by and some other stuff, and lots of smaller festivals, and then Davion played Sundance and then played Berlin as its international premiere, which was really cool. And then as well, it played a bunch of smaller American and international. So I feel good about the Sundance possibility, although again, Sundance is extremely difficult to get into, as we've talked about. So I'm kind of taking one step at a time. At the end of the day, I think what I'm excited about is that the movie is starting to feel like I want it to. And that is encouraging, because the movie that I wanted to make is fun and enjoyable and powerful on some subtle levels and memorable, and I'm not saying we're there yet, but I do see the path to getting there, and that's exciting, because that's all I care about. Like great movies skip big festivals all the time and still find a home, and it can happen. And if we don't get any big festivals, again, I'm just like, did I make the movie I wanted to make? And I think we're moving in the direction of yes. So that's exciting.
You know what we have to talk about at some point? The fact that you laid down a challenge to the now 0 listeners we have regarding a review and a trip to LA.
We did do that. We need to...
Have you looked to see if we've gotten any reviews?
Hundreds. No, not hundreds. We've gotten a couple, but people must not think I'm serious because we've only gotten a couple.
You got to reiterate. Well, maybe that just belies the fact that we have no actual listeners.
I was thinking about this, John. What do you think the chances that 95% of our listeners are bots?
Well, I do know that the software that we use to look at the analytics for this supposedly omit bots.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, still say like 90%.
90% of them are bots. Well, so we're really just talking to the remaining 10%. Make yourselves known, people. Write us a review. We want to fly you out here. I want to buy you some Applebee's and
sweetening the pot.
Maybe even, I want to take you to Denny's, and we're gonna have a hoot and a half. But you got to review it to get into this raffle. Plus, if you like the show, don't you want to help other people find it? Please, we're desperate. Just kidding. We're obviously we need your help. I need help.
Do you remember those ads on TV back in the day that I've fallen and I can't get up?
Yes. I think they're still on TV.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, Med Alert bracelets and whatnot. That was such a phenomenon, though, when I was a kid. And an insult that you would say to people like, man, you look like the lady from the "I've fallen and I can't get up" video. The clapper, that was another one. Remember the clapper?
Those commercials, John, are just so bad.
There is a new sensation, like some ads, like what's a good one? Flex Seal. Have you seen these ads? Where they just lean into the ridiculousness of the ad. The ad might become a meme. Like this is what happened with Flex Seal. It was a guy and he'd be like chopping shit in half and then slapping this tape on it. He'd like have a huge jug of water, saw a hole in it, and then boom, slam the tape over and it doesn't leak. And it was such a dramatic ad that people immediately turned it into memes, and they just leaned full into that, dude. They like made their own memes. They made the ads even wackier, like did some quick editing. It's crazy, man. They fully leaned into that, and they sold merch. They're just raking it in, dude. Flex Seal, look them up.
That's one of those products. I'm like, good. People need that shit. Sell it.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen the show Forge and Fire, John?
No. Is this about knife makers?
Yeah, it's about knife makers. It's pretty great. It's pretty horrible, but it's pretty great at the same time. They just look it up. Just go look it up, guys. You got the internet.
Look it up.
What else is new, John? We could do another episode of Cooking with John and Zay. Cooking with John and Zay. I wanted to talk about this, John, and then we should. And then I don't have anything else that's pressing.
All right, we'll keep it brief.
But Cooking with John and Zay. John, I found a new snack. So I've been avoiding carbs because I think they make me sleepy. They make my brain not work well. I think it's just the way my body works. I'm not like gluten intolerant or anything. I just simple sugars and simple carbs. It just doesn't work for me. So I'm on a fat heavy, leaning in a direction of keto, as they say, to experiment because I am.
Can you eat French fries? Is that keto?
Not really. There's a lot of starchy carbs. Yeah. See, but I'm not going to be religious about it. I'm going to eat what I want to eat. I'm just going to try to only eat stuff like French fries when I really want French fries and not just fill with French fries. And it's actually been really great because you basically you rely very heavily on fats, which then, you train your body. The idea is you train your body to, instead of relying on carbs for energy, to get into a state of ketosis, is what they say. And what basically your body's doing at that point is it's burning solid, like saturated fats for energy instead of carbs. And so in order to do that, it's really good for your brain. It's really good for your heart, because instead of storing saturated fat, it burns it. The problem is that all of my favorite foods have an insane amount of carbs in them, like ice cream and pizza and hot dogs and hamburgers and French fries.
Ice cream is a carb?
Well, there's sugar out the wazoo,
Is sugar a carb?
Yeah. Carbs turn into sugar. Like carbs get broken down into glucose, as far as I understand.
Okay, I got you.
But here's the upside, John. You need to eat. I exercise too, so I need calories. And that means while I don't get to eat a lot of junk, I do get to eat a lot of delicious things like bacon.
Sure.
And because I need calories, I'm supposed to eat fat, and I'm not storing the fat, so it's actually not that bad for you. So I use and eat a lot of butter, a lot of bacon, a lot of other delicious things, and that's great. One of the things that I've been snacking on, because I did a little internet research, I was like, hey, internet, what do I eat? And the internet was like, your face. And I was like, no. And then I found another thing that was not, the answer was more helpful. And it's I bought myself a bag of pork rinds. You don't like pork rinds?
Oh, hell no.
Oh, come on. Why not?
I mean, I haven't had one since I was a camper at Camp Sandy Cove. And
there's your problem, John. There's your problem. Camp pork rinds are the worst.
They were gas station pork rinds.
Oh, I didn't say anything about gas station pork rinds. Gas station pork rinds are great. Eating gas station pork rinds at camp has an effect on the flavor. It's really bizarre. No one totally understands it. There's been studies about it, and it's inconclusive evidence. So
it was camp, so it was like a 50-50 chance somebody farted in the bag or did something horrible to it before they handed it to me.
Yeah, that was part of it.
I've never eaten a pork rind since.
Yeah. Well, I think it's time to retry. Open your own bag. Open it fresh. Make sure the expiration date's okay. And here's what you're going to do, John, because I know you're a fan of the hot sauce. The hot sauce. Is that how it's pronounced? Hot sauce. What you're going to do, John, is you're going to take a reasonable serving of pork rinds. These things have many calories. You do not want to eat the whole bag. But you take you can get a little bellyache. You take a reasonable serving of pork rinds. You put them on a little plate.
Yeah.
And then you take some Crystal Louisiana hot sauce, or any hot sauce if you're choosing. But damn, Crystal Louisiana hot sauce is my new jam. It's kind of like Cholula.
Is it really?
It's kind of like Cholula and Tabasco had a baby.
Yeah.
It's got like the legit kind of peppery, cayenne style of like a more Mexican hot sauce, but it's got the vinegariness of a Tabasco. And oh my gosh, it's so delicious. And it's cheap. It's like the cheapest hot sauce on the market. But anyway,
the best cheap hot sauce, Crystal's fine. It's a little runny. It's a little too watery for my taste.
I like it.
I like a thicker consistency hot sauce.
You like a globby hot sauce?
Yeah, I do actually. Like the Cholula you mentioned is quite good. But if you get the Tabasco, the Chipotle Tabasco, it's the best. It's so good.
Damn it, John.
It's delicious.
Chipotle Tabasco is the best hot sauce. I just was raving.
It's definitely a contender.
Oh, there's all these boutique hot sauces, but I'm talking about stuff, the
mainstream hot sauce is excellent.
I'm talking about the kind of stuff that my mainstream stuff that my boy Teddy Bronson, shout out to Teddy, who's still with us after all these years. I'm talking about the kind of hot sauce that Teddy Bronson gets into. Speaking of which, hit us up with your favorite hot sauce. Put it in your review. Anyone who reviews our show and puts simultaneously includes a review of their favorite hot sauce automatically gets a t-shirt sent to them. Throwing it out there.
I'm gonna write mine now.
Disclaimer, I don't actually have any more t-shirts, but when we get more made, you get one.
No.
No, I do have some. I'm looking in the closet now. We have some. We don't have a ton. But I'm saying I don't think anyone's going to do it. Prove me wrong. Challenge gauntlet thrown.
The Chipotle Tabasco is incredible, and it has a better consistency than the normal Tabasco. It's not as runny.
I agree. But I kind of sometimes for certain things I like the runniness. And Crystal's delicious. And this would be great with Chipotle Tabasco, but specifically, John, you take a plate of pork rinds.
Yep.
They're all crispy. And then you sprinkle some hot sauce on them. And it's like they start crackling because it's kind of like Rice Krispie treats. They're puffy and the little bubbles start crackling. And they just and you just got you don't want to make too big of a plate, partly because you don't want them to get soggy. But you get those nice pork rinds. Yo, dog, great snack. And honestly, not that terrible for you because it's just pig fat. It could be, all the vegans, oh shit. The vegans were the last 2 or 3% of our audience. They're gone. So I'm pretty sure we're officially only talking to Teddy Bronson and the NSA now. But Teddy Bronson and the NSA do need snacks. So that's who we're here for. We're going to keep it up. Anyway, well, I don't know what's going on, John. I feel like
what's the matter?
I feel like rollers is just melting my brain. I feel like
you need some carbs.
Yeah, man.
You sound carb starved.
Oh, baby, I might be. I'm gonna go get myself a bagel.
Just get a bagel, some ice cream.
Oh, don't tempt me. Oh,
you're not. Who's trying to live forever? You know what I'm saying? You're not. Who's gonna live forever? Nobody.
Some cigarettes and a bagel and a bottle of Jack Daniels and just eat and drink myself into a nice early grave.
I remember hearing
my goal is to not see rollers hit theaters
ever.
Woo, baby! I got getting a little close to home, aren't we? Okay, go ahead, John.
Nothing. I was gonna say something dark. I was gonna tell a dark story, so I'm gonna drop it.
We try so hard to, what we said,
alienate
John?
our listeners.
Before yesterday, I said, John, I'm tired of being so damn serious all the time. Let's have some fun on this episode. You know what we did? We ranted about how awful everything is for like an hour. I ranted for oh, heavens. Well, at least we got a good episode of Cooking with John and Zay in.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. What do you want to tell your dark story though, John?
No, it'll bum everybody out. I don't want to tell it, especially after last episode.
Oh boy. There's some hope at the end of that though. I will say that.
I know we're trying to wrap this up, but let's get a good recap. You're already submitting to festivals, but you still have probably a week to 2 weeks of editing left.
I'm hesitating because I don't know. I'm tired of getting my hopes up. I'm kind of just trying to take it one day at a time.
Yeah.
I'm having a meeting with a good friend of mine, Ren, who's a really smart screenwriter, good filmmaker. And we're going to watch the movie together on Thursday and talk about it.
Right.
I'm getting to the point where I am honing in. But yeah, I don't know if I want to put too many timelines on it.
Right. I'm always asking you for a timeline. It's not necessarily the best clue. I'm just trying to give listeners a sense of like how much, not even on a time scale, but how much there is left to do. Because I don't think I wonder. I don't know what I anticipated personally for editing. I don't know if I thought it would take a week. No, I didn't think that. I didn't know if it would take a year. Like I just didn't necessarily know how long these things take. And it's only been how long? 3 months?
Yeah, about that.
It's been 3 months. And I don't know. Is that a normal time scale? Is it long? Is it short?
That's a good question. I think I'm a little ahead of schedule, but I don't really know. I guess it depends on what kind of movie you're making.
Right.
I think considering the fact that I'm doing so much of it on my own and that I'm a first timer, and we'll see. I guess maybe we are somewhere in the broader range of on time to behind. And I think Yeah, just meaning like somewhere kind of in the middle. Like we're roughly. It's like when you go to the doctor. Oh, I went to the doctor. I think I'm fine. I think everything's fine. You never really know. But I think, I told him about my life, and I was like, I eat pretty healthy food. I exercise. I don't feel horrible generally. And I think he was like, okay, then you probably are fine, because that's how this works. And usually life-threatening things have symptoms, and you don't exhibit any of them. So I think you're probably not going to die of some bizarre disease that you're unaware of. That said, why am I transitioning like that? What I'm really trying to say
is, I do have lupus.
I do maybe have I still had I got a weird food poisoning back in the spring that has seemed to, in some ways, to linger. But the point is, I don't know that that's there in a major way. And even if it is, it's probably something antibiotics could solve very easily. So I think I'm fine. My point is, I think rollers is in that range where it's like, yeah, it's healthy. It's good. It's working. We're on schedule, sort of, kind of, whatever schedule is. Now, what I think will happen in the next week or two is that we will either accelerate to the finish and finish what is probably considered ahead of schedule, or things could lag a little bit and we kind of just get on a somewhat normal schedule where the post process just keeps taking forever, and that's just kind of how things go.
And you're still in a mind frame that reshoots not going to happen.
I don't think so.
Yeah. So
it's always a possibility, but yeah, I think we're very much moving in a direction where we're using what we've got, which is exciting.
And there's still ADR, automatic dialogue replacement, to do, where the actors come back and they say lines so they're more clear.
Exactly.
And you can also potentially add lines if you had to or wanted to.
Exactly.
So there's still all that to do, which probably would take weeks, I would imagine, right?
Yeah, but what's different about that is it's not me sitting in a room working all day, every day.
Right.
And not that I do that every day, but when I'm editing, it takes a while to get in and out of it. It's going to be much more like, like we've been talking about, we're moving to the point where, oh boy, someone in a van just pulled up. That's my dog's worst nightmare. Vans.
That's
why were you so surprised about a van?
That's everybody's worst nightmare. A van pulls up in front of your house. It's because of our conversation. This is going to be it. Mr. Smallman.
It was yesterday's conversation. They didn't hear today's episode yet. Damn it. This is, oh boy, he's coming to the door. Oh boy.
Okay.
Screwed.
Well,
I guess I gotta go. I guess so. This may be the last episode we ever record.
Ever.
All right. Well, John, it's been real. If this is our last episode, the guy's still at the door. He might be just waiting to murder me. We'll see.
Oh my gosh. Go get the door, but text me that you're still alive in 10 minutes.
Okay, will do.